Welcome back into Inside the Huddle. Clint Brakebill alongside Kale of the Emerald Globe News. And you have a podcast as well, you do?
Yeah, the Press Pass. Appreciate that.
Yeah, you're wearing a lot of hats these days.
Yeah, a little cheek pop there for the Press Pass with Craig Sperry and I. He does the Happy Sports Network. We do that on Monday and Thursdays. You can catch that on iTunes, Twitter, Facebook, whatever you want to do. Talking high school football. You've been on there a few times?
Yeah, always enjoy when I get to go on with these guys. We love talking high school football, and obviously we can't get enough of it. So
no, you do a radio show. So, I mean, you both wear a lot of hats.
That's right. That's
8 weeks in, man. We're 2 months into football. It's got to slow down because I'm not ready for basketball, man. I'm going to be honest.
And this is when football starts getting good. You get into these district matchups. You kind of know who's who by this point. And you get some of those big district matchups, we'll get to in just a minute, one of the biggest ones of the year. But we'll start with one of the biggest names coming into town, Odessa Permian. They're going to be here to kind of kick things off on Thursday night.
Yeah, everybody loves to see the mojo coming to town. Friday Night Lights, everybody feels like that's the team of Texas, especially West Texas.
Right.
Coming to face the Tascosa Rebels, and the Rebels got a huge win at Midland High. A win that we didn't know if Tascosa could go down there and get. Yep. They don't play well in Midland. They don't play well in Odessa. We know that. King Doru, he looked like a guy that had announced his commitment, and he looked like a guy with a lot off his shoulders, ran for 145 yards. Great game. That game was never close, Clint. Tascosa just took care of business.
And as you mentioned, saw in your article talking about that, King Doru was a big part of putting that away. I saw maybe a 60-yard touchdown last week that helped seal the deal. So he's playing well. Tascosa's welcoming in a team that's playing very well as well, and that might be an understatement. As last week I saw they were, fans were lining up like at 5 in the morning to get tickets to Odessa High versus Odessa Permian, and probably leaving at halftime.
On their high school kiosks, they put Odessa Permian versus that other school. You just got to love the cockiness of the mojo, and they're flying right now, man. They are them, Midland, Lee, and Tascosa right there. You got to just put those three in the realm, and this is a huge game for Tascosa. It's at home. They need this win, and if they have the athletes, if this is the year they're going to get Permian, they're physical up front. Permian is. They love to stop the run, and that's what Tascosa loves to do. So it's like can that unstoppable force against the immovable object? Who's going to win that battle?
And lots of star players on the field for this one. Division I talents. I mean,
you like the quarterback at Permian?
Yeah, Powell, and he's one of those guys. I don't think he's committed yet, but I think TCU is the one that's all over him. So I mean, this is a guy that's going to have a nice little choice. We got King going to Purdue. We got
Brandon White going to Baylor. LB Moore's getting looks at D1, and then I know that Permian has their
scouts all over the field for this one, as they'll be looking at different positions. Speaking of district, taking a look at district standings in District 2 5A. And you look at the Caprock Longhorns as one of the unbeatens. Now early, they had their bye week, 2-0, but still at the top as one of the two teams undefeated.
Yeah, and they've beat the teams they're supposed to, which Caprock in the past doesn't beat those teams. But they're doing that right now, and they are going to be tested because if you look at the top of those standings, Clint, 2-1, sitting there, they're going a big trip at Abilene Cooper, and Abilene Cooper's only losses to Lubbock Coronado so far.
Yeah, and they gave Lubbock Coronado all they could handle. I heard Chris Fisher say that last week. This is an Abilene Cooper team that's pretty good. And like he mentioned, week 1 of district play, Coronado got them, but they gave them all they could for 3 quarters, and then Coronado pulled away. So this is an Abilene Cooper team that's 2-1 playing well.
We got a chance to see Abilene Cooper up here, and and I like Chris Fisher a lot, man, but I know he wasn't feeling good after leaving Dick Bivens and seeing what the Cougars did to his Dons. But Caprock, Tariq Williams with the ball in his hand, such a playmaker. Their defense is going to have to step up. This is a huge game for Caprock. Now, a loss isn't going to kill them right here, but it's a big game. It's kind of a measuring stick game. You want to see these guys go down and play hard. Shotwell Stadium, not an easy place to play.
Yeah, and there's 5 teams right now that have a win in district, and so you start looking now even early on in district play, jockeying for position, and one of those is Emerald High and PD, both with only 1 win. PD with 2 losses, Emerald High with only 1 loss, but still.
Yeah, it's such a historic game, too. It's the oldest city rivalry, kind of north side versus southwest side. Everybody gets excited for this game. And Emerald High played you talk about playing Coronado tough. 14-10 till the 4th quarter, till that offense started going for Coronado a little bit. But Emerald High, a very, very testy team. They found something new. They had Will Maynard starting at quarterback. They moved Bo Barker to wide receiver in that game. So kind of found something new there in the second half. We're able to put up some points. I think you'll see that again on Friday.
Speaking of a district rivalry,
we can't wait to talk about
Yeah, this is one we're going to have to cut ourselves off at some point because Canadian and Childress, a game that we've been talking about since the preseason, since 2-a-days. We go to 2-a-days, we're already asking the kids, Canadian Childress, and they're like, whoa, we got to get through
7 games first.
We got to get to all those games first. But hey, we're there, Canadian and Childress, and this. no disrespect to anybody in the district, could be looked at as a de facto district championship game.
Yeah, you got Friona and Spearman playing for another like a seeding kind of game, but you don't even think of it because right now you got Canadian Childress. I remember when we started doing the Pigskin preview in July, Lance Lawnert, Lee Passmore, and myself were like, oh, Canadian Childress, but just circling it, and all that. In Canadian Friday night, I'll actually be there. I get out of the dungeon of our office that night. Yeah, I get to get out. I can't see the sun. Man, Luke Latimer does Luke Latimer type things. We've been saying that. The guys at an X factor, Casey Cavalier's an X factor. 2 great quarterbacks, 2 great offenses, 2 great defenses. What's going to give?
Yeah, I've talked to a lot of people and they said, all right, well, who's at home? And I think that's going to play into it. It's in Canadian.
Great setting there too.
And it's in Canadian, and that certainly helps. And for whatever reason, Childress has not got over that Canadian hump in a while.
Yeah, well, you have a stat there
1999 is what I was told from
Jerry Brunson.
Yeah, up in Canadian. So 1999, and so that was a 21-20 win by Childress in 1999. 7 straight wins by Canadian over Childress.
Yeah, a couple of playoff, I know 4 straight playoff wins. A 30-game winning streak in district for Canadian. Last loss, December 12th, 2012, when Ben Arbuckle was the quarterback. You're welcome, Ben, for that stat.
Second time he's got that mention.
Yeah, we're going to keep grinding on Ben a little bit for that. Childress has had a lot of turnovers this year. Canadian plays discipline, but Childress's defense is really good. It's just going to come down to who makes less mistakes, who comes away as the better offensive team. It's just so hard to pick this game, Clint.
Yeah, and I remember 2 years ago, the Childress Canadian game where Childress could have scored from inside their own 5. It got stripped out, taken the other way.
Brendan Wyatt goes 95 yards.
And that's how that game ended. It's like, man, there's a curse in this rivalry right now against Childress. Could this be the year that they get past that? This is going to be, just like you said, I think it's going to be a 3-point game going into the 4th quarter.
It's going to be close. What a game, though. And statewide recognition, something the Texas Panhandle desperately needs. Number 3 versus number 8 in Class 3A, 2 of the best teams. Greg Tepper of Dave Campbell's magazine, we talked to him on Tuesday. He said this is the game when it comes to the state. So that's huge volumes for this area, something we need more of here, and I'm excited to go and see. Canadian's a great setting. They got the mesas out there. The sun comes over at the great bowl stadium, and it's going to be a great atmosphere. I expect it to be packed.
You feeling bold? Do you want to make a prediction?
Yeah, no.
I don't either, because I don't even know which one I would pick. So.
Yeah, I'm not even going to, I'm not going there.
All right, so what about some other games? We know that one's the one that we've had circled forever. Yeah. What about some that we're looking at as well?
Well, on the other side of that, I just said, well, I'll go Spearman Friona. Yep. I think that's a really good game in that district. It could settle another seeding. Dalhart, the Wolves, man, Thursday night football at Estacado. That's kind of a district game itself. Could be a de facto championship type game or a seeding type game. Dalhart's playing excellent football right now.
And they're going to an Estacado team that we've talked about several times on Inside the Huddle about how well they're playing. They're coming off another big win. And Dobbins, I've talked about him a couple of times. He scored 4 touchdowns last week, and that's going to be one of the biggest ones they have to stop. And we talk about their speed. Every time we talk about Estacado, Dalhart has to try and slow down that speed.
Everybody in front of Dalhart, they passed that test so far. I like this team. I think they're gonna come out of Lowry. I'll be bold on this one. I think they're gonna come out of Lowry with a win.
Yeah, it's interesting because we counted. I mean, not you, but certainly some have counted them out, and then they have an injured quarterback. Then you certainly kind of count them out, and then they continue to keep rolling.
I like it, man. But those are what a week. Finally, we get some teeth to a week where we just have some big games to talk about.
Yeah, Permian, Tascosa, Canadian Childress, some big names in action. Looking forward to it, Kale. Appreciate it as always. And we'll be looking forward to these games Friday night.